Sparky, I wonder if anybody can hear me now. But, like, because it says stream starting soon. So I think that I'm live, but I wonder if they can actually hear me. They probably can. I don't know exactly how that works. We'll just have to assume that they can hear me, and then we'll go from there. They can hear me. That's confirmed. All right. So there's people coming in the chat. We are starting soon. 7:59. Folks can hear me. Oh, well, nobody can see me yet. It says sign in the chat. I can't sign in the chat. That's the only problem. So my wife is in the chat. I can see the chat, but I usually don't pay attention to the chat. And I cannot comment in the chat because it says sign in. Now I could run over and get my iPad and get into the live stream and comment in that chat, but that's really trying to manage a lot of devices. So here we go. I'm going to click on live. Where is it? There it is. Here we go. And now will see me live before you see me live. And now I gotta do that thing where I look this way instead of down where the chat is. I haven't really solved that yet anyway, but hanging out with you folks in the chat is something that I will have to address another time. Welcome aboard. Welcome to the Season 2 premiere of streaming live from my living room. It is spring. Happy spring. It's March 20th, 2021. Welcome Unshunned in the chat. I tried to go live before I went live because I tried to go before I went live after live, and I couldn't go live before I went live, but I did a little live what happens before we go live for Patreon. I put it up there. Big donation coming in already. That's Rockstar. If you are a patron, you're an Unshunned, that's where there's extra footage. Now, Sparky was eating. I was trying to get her to show off for the just before the live stream. She's hiding right now, so I don't know what's going on. It's technically an hour earlier, but she's kind of chucking me the bird, as it were. But she's over the corner here. She gets worked up before I go live, and now she's just making a dick out of me. So anyway, I got my cheater notes here, all kinds of fun stuff happening. I am now working with the GoFundMe MacBook Pro, but I'm still using notes. I'm getting used to writing on a normal piece of equipment, and I print out my, my notes and my plans. Something that I hadn't planned on, the particular word processor I'm using. The name of this document, where I put everything that I'm going to say tonight, is S2 Season 2 E1, and the date, streaming live from my living room. Now, it happens to say that at the top of every single piece of paper. So, as I'm ranting away, bibbidi-bobbidi, bibbidi-bobbidi-boo, there's a fairly excellent chance that I will just announce Season 2, Episode 1, March 20th, 2021, Happy Spring, like every 5 or 6 pages. Growing pains, deal with it. The GoFundMe MacBook Pro is the fucking shit. I'm so excited. I can't thank you enough. It's got a lot to learn there. Sparky's running around. She's teasing an appearance. But we'll see what happens. Best way to support the show and me and my life is PayPal donations. They still keep the electric on. I got a lot of ranting to do here tonight. If you are not an Unshunned, the live stream episodes, and I think there's like 50 of them, are going to slowly be getting archived to where only the unshunned can see them. I know that kind of makes me a dick, but that's what's going to be happening there. So I'm going to be moving those over, and I'm trying to organize them somehow. I don't really know how I could possibly organize what this is, but that's what's happening there. I am psyched, and I wish I could bring you all with me next Saturday night, March 27th. I cannot stream live because I will actually be live at the Music Fest Cafe. That's the big room at Steel Stacks Arts Quest. It's just an incredible performance venue, and the big room that I'm in is something that I have been working for the last 5 years. They started me in a small room, and it sells out. Then they put me in a bigger room, then it sells out. And every year I tease that soon they're going to have to put me in the big room, and that's what they did. But for all the wrong reasons. It's socially distanced. I'll put a picture on my fan page and on my Instagram so you can see how things would be spread out. So the nutshell there is that I seem like I'm always pissing and moaning about money. It's probably because I miss having money. So you got to cut me a little slack there. Even though it's sold out, I will be making a lot less money than I do working the smaller room, and so will Arts Quest and Steel Stacks. They're a non-profit. They give me a hell of a deal, but there's a lot of additional costs that we're both picking up the slack for to keep everybody safe. They got ventilation in there. They had to overhaul their system. The tables are all spread out. I really love the setup. I know people are concerned and some aren't, and I'll talk about that later on too. I'm comfortable with the setup. I really am. My wife's a little worried for me. She was hoping I'd zoom in there and do 10 minutes and get the fuck out of there. I would like to do like a 5-hour show, but I put that on my pages, and Ryan over at Arts Quest said the staff is going to want to go home sometime. And don't fucking tee off on the staff. I'm with them. I'm going to want to go home sometime too. So I'm very excited about that. I actually haven't performed live since November, and that was my first socially distanced show, and that was kind of weird and awkward. This one is socially distanced, but it's going to be more badass, and I'm more familiar with how that works. How the tables are spread out is kind of cool, because I actually wish they would keep that system when all this shit is behind us, because when everybody gets together as an audience to drink, the asshole factor skyrockets through the roof. So having people separated will cut down on the drunken assholery, and then if it happens, it's going to be really easy to go, table 7, quiet, you cocksuckers. So it's going to be harder to be a dick at my show, so I like this new setup. That's badass right there. And let me explain what's behind me here. This is part of my podcast that I'm going to be starting. I'm going to be starting Raimi Amish Comics podcast. Wanted to give it a new look. I was thinking of doing a video podcast because a lot of people do that, and that's when I ordered this. It's actual real bookcase that I put in there, and if you think I'm lying, and if you think it's just a curtain, a shower curtain hanging there, I got a little proof here. Let's see. What could I pick for you guys? Let's see. How about this? How about House of Leaves? How about that? Would a real book come off a shower curtain? I think not. So anyway, probably nobody fell for that, but I had to try.
What's the heart in the star at the bottom of the screen?
What's the heart in the star of the bottom of the what?
Of the screen.
I don't know. There's a heart in the bottom of the screen. That means somebody loves me, I guess. I don't really know. That's a good question. I will be researching that this week, probably, to find out what the heart is doing on YouTube. It's not like in my house, right?
Right.
Boy, that fucked me up. So there's a heart.
Sorry,
I don't know. I don't see it. So I don't know what you see.
Okay.
But apparently there's a heart, and apparently somebody loves me. or some sort of romantic threat. I don't really know. So it's another thing for me to learn. So now back to the podcast. After all my research, I was told don't do a video podcast for a couple of silly reasons. The recording that I'm doing now is a webcam, and this has speakers in it, microphones in it, which I think are good. You would know better than I because you can hear me and I can hear me. But this doesn't transfer to podcast format. And when people listen to podcasts, the operative word is listen. You listen when you're driving, you listen when you're in the kitchen, you listen 15, 20-minute clips. You don't really watch podcasts. And then my research said that especially if you have a live stream show on YouTube, you don't need a video podcast. I know a lot of people do them. I'm trying audio. That's going to be really weird because it's not going to be, there's not going to be any music. There's not going to be any fancy band playing me on. It's just going to be me, like, talking for like 20 minutes trying to hold your interest without you being able to stare and rubberneck me like this. And Sparky will probably beep. That's the fun thing there. She's probably going to beep. I'm not going to hide anywhere where she can't beep. And in the day, she beeps and goes nuts. So I got the bookcase here right behind me, which is also something I ordered, like I said, before I found out that I wasn't going to do a video podcast. Now, this was a $12 investment, and let me tell you how much fun I have. I know people get all pissed off at Amazon, but point, click, and send. I know they treat the workers like shit, but I didn't choose them to work there, and it's budget friendly. People have so much time on their hands that there's reviews on Amazon about this tapestry bookcase, and some of the people said the books don't look real. The books are too small. The titles on the books some of them are stupid. I didn't even read them, for crying out loud. This one says, Dawn, my staff. That sounds a little naughty. It's a fucking $12 tapestry on Amazon. It's not supposed to look all that real. What the fuck? This thing is designed for assholes like me to fucking live stream or put on the wall to cover up holes in the wall, or to put in his college dorm room so the room doesn't look like a fucking prison. If you want this thing to look like an actual real fucking library in your house, build a fucking library in your house, for crying out loud. Who the fuck has time to review fucking tapestries on Amazon? Motherfuckers get me all worked up. And there'll be more of these too. I like this. So again, I'm all over the place here again, but my biggest worry is what I'm going to do next weekend. I can't abandon my live stream audience, but I sure as fuck ain't doing a show Saturday night live stream, and I'm not doing a live stream afterwards. Whether or not I can do one Friday night, nobody knows, not even me. But I'm going to try to make it up to you, peckerheads. I mean that in a nice way. So again, it's growing pains. We got some weird shit going on here. What's happening is my notes all over the place, is I'm going to talk about some stuff tonight in this live stream that I'm going to throw out on the live show next Saturday night. Won't be the same, but I'm not even testing it. I'm just going to explain what's going on here, is that all of us, again, I tip my hat to us, because whether you realize it or not, we are living through a ridiculously difficult time in history. Years from now, people will study this part of history of life, and none of us were meant to go through this. We are actually part of history, and it's basically I have it broken down into three things. There's PP, that's pre-pandemic; P, which we are in now, pandemic; and PP again post-pandemic. We are now in the P stage of PP, P, P, P. Now, probably some of you think now, all this talk about P, I gotta go up and make a wee-wee. And that's what we're gonna have to call it. We can't call it PP anymore. It has to be wee-wee because we don't want to get our P's and Q's mixed up. And in this case, the Q now stands for quarantine. So you're part of history. And what's really, really fucking crazy about this, I'm an amateur history buff because my people really have no history. Every single day in the Amish community is like the history of the Amish. If you just want to learn about the history of the Amish, just fucking spend the day with them. It's the same, and it's the Amish is the same history, it's the same present, and it's the same future. But what is fascinating to me is different periods of time in history. If you study the different world wars and the Great Depression, if you're lucky, you get to talk to somebody who lived through it, and they have fascinating stories to tell. We are all living through a ridiculously difficult time in history, and our stories are going to suck. Nobody's going to want to talk to us about living through this time in history for a whole bunch of reasons. First of all, our stories won't match. If you go back and you talk to someone from the Great Depression and they tell you they had to stand in the soup line and they had everyone was depressed and they had no money and they went down to the vaudeville club and then they had everything all inclusive on one show and you could get in for a nickel. There was a juggler and a stripper and a singer and a comedian, and it was all inclusive, and they just told you that the entertainment industry always flourishes during bad times in this country. Not now. That's why we're going through shit nobody ever fucking went through. But the point is, nobody's gonna wanna talk to us because our stories will not match. Everybody's going through the pandemic in a different way, and they're going to explain it in such a way that people are going to think we're all fucking nuts. Our stories won't match up at all. And I was hooting and hollering about this today, and my lovely wife said, one thing will be consistent is that the toilet paper shortage. And I don't like to argue with my wife, but I said, I disagree because I think there's going to be people, when they're quizzed about this time in history, are going to go, that toilet paper shortage, that's a bunch of malarkey. They just made that up to sell toilet paper. I don't even think we'll be able to fucking agree on that. So, we're part of history. People are going to want to talk to us, and then after 2 minutes, they're not going to want to fucking talk to us. Even like with mail, you know, when they'll say, it's a mail, slow down. I didn't get mail for like years and years. It was just the fucking worst thing. And then somebody's, I got more mail during the pandemic than I ever got in my life. And you know why? Because they couldn't fucking deliver it. They had to just put it in a big fucking closet and bring it, dump all your fucking mail in one fucking, dump truck of mail. We won't be able to talk about this. None of us will be able to go into schools and speak to kids. They always say, we have a guy coming in who's in World War II. Not us. We're going to be like the pandemic fucking lunatics, and nobody's going to want to fucking talk to us. But we are living through it, and I'm proud of us when I'm not in a complete state of panic myself, which gets me to something very important is we're all at different stages of this pandemic. If you've been working and the weather goes up and it's nice and you see sports is playing a little bit and things seem like they're nice, but someone dumbass like me, I'm not back to work yet. Yes, I have a show on the books, but so we're going through different levels, and depending on who you talk to, some people are real happy, and that's good, but they talk as though everything's fine and everything's back to normal. It's no shock to anybody. It shouldn't be a shock to anybody. We don't own this home. We rent. And here's a real breaking news headline for you. We are behind on our rent. Our landlord is fucking awesome. He's a fantastic person. He's been so nice and understanding. And I've got to pay him some rent, but we're still behind on the rent. Something happened in his head that he was still sweet and he was happy. I hated to burst his bubble. He somehow thought this was all over. I don't know what made him think it. He told me, he said, "Oh boy, everything's moving, everything's opening up, and now it's time to get caught up on the rent." He was all excited. I'm there. Did something happen that I missed? I mean, we turned the clocks ahead 1 hour. We didn't turn them ahead a whole fucking year. He said, "Oh, everything's opening up." And I said, "Well, yeah, Texas, yeah, they're opening up, but they have to. They had $90,000 electric bills. We're still fucking closed." Something in his brain made him think everything was okay. And then I started to figure it out. It's the fucking stimulus checks, of which have not made it to me and my wife yet. So we didn't get the $600 checks. That would be $600 here, $600 back there. That's $1,200. Then there's $1,400 ones. That's, well, you know the math. It's almost that's $1,400. That's almost $3,000. So I think my landlord was excited, believing that we had $4,000 in this house and we were going to fucking bring it over to him. We didn't get them. I mean, the GoFundMe was for the MacBook Pro. Now apparently I got to do a GoFundMe for the rent. So I hated to burst his bubble, and again, he's been really sweet about it. But all this stimulus shit, we have not yet been stimulated. Is the point of all that? And a thing that I miss that I have to do now that I'm good at, and I hate that I'm good at it, and a lot of you peckerheads, I mean, and I are good at it too. I got good at juggling bills. You get a little bit of money, and then you know, I have to pay this. I don't have to pay that. I can juggle that to the next time. I got good at it. We all got good at it. If you don't, they turn the fucking electric off. My career, I was very proud of. I had structured it over the last 4 years or so that I did not have to juggle, and that would be because this time of year, January to March, metric fuck ton of money would come in, and I just fucking bank it. And then when I had to pay bills over the slow season, I was good to go. So I am okay at juggling. I rather wouldn't juggle. And when those of you who know what I'm talking about, if you do not have to juggle, your life is happier. Juggling is stressful. I can do it. I rather wouldn't. So for me, I miss a lot of shit, but I also miss not having to juggle. The only time being a juggler would be good if I was in Cirque du Soleil, and that would fuck me in a bucket of goo right now anyway, because they're fucking shut down. So that's all the shit that's going on here. Again, I'm excited to get some Arts Quest money, but apparently my landlord is excited for that show as well. So I feel your pain out there. When people are happy, cheer them on, but we're not all there yet. So that's what's going on there. So yeah, flip this over here. Boom, 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 boom. Got that there. Boom, 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 boom. I know there's going to be a time in the stream when it catches up that my head's going to be down and I'm looking at notes. And here we go. There. That's another one. I'm going to flip that one. Let's see here. Spark not going to join us. Spark's hanging out on it.
Kevin Taylor said it. He said you paid $10.
Well, that's fantastic. Thank you, Kevin Keller. That brings me to, again, Patreon. I'm still learning that. In fact, I signed up to take a Patreon course. It's free. And they're going to tell me what kind of perks to offer my unshunned. And they're all fucking stupid, so I don't know if I'm going to do any of those. One of them was take your patrons, take your unshunned, and put them in the credits. So it would be like Ramy Amish Comic and Kevin Keller. See, it doesn't work, you know. Ramy Amish Comic, Kevin Keller, Richter, and Clee's sister. You see, it doesn't fucking work. So I don't have any credits. What the fuck am I going to do? You peckerheads, I'll melt into the credits of 13 people that are on my patrons right now, my unshunned. So that's a stupid fucking idea. I can't do that. They had other ones. A perk for Patreon, they said, is I would agree to follow them on Twitter and then retweet them. That's one of the most douchebaggy ideas I've ever heard in my fucking life. I had enough trouble getting my fans off of Hatebook over to YouTube. Some of you fuckers tweet and some of you don't. That's like, to me, that's like, I will follow you on Twitter and you will be grateful. What the fuck? That's fucked up. That ain't gonna happen. So that's not a good thing there. Then I started to think up my own shit, like a bag of bitcoins, because they don't really fucking exist. So it's like virtual bag of bitcoins, boom, roasted. That ain't gonna work. So let's see. I got ahead of myself. I gotta find out where I put my other Patreon perks, because there are some other ones there. Oh, I have a Patreon perk for someone. Look, a router. You see, our son, who's been guiding me, he gave me this router. It's really fucking good. And I wired it up, and my system didn't get along with it. So now I have a router that could be a perk for my unshunned. So if anybody in my unshunned needs a fucking router, just post on one of the videos. But you're fucking paying for shipping, or I'm going to leave it in the bushes somewhere. So there is an unshunned perk for somebody, a router. That's a onesie. You can't say, oh, we're all buggy drivers. We all get routers. No fucking way. So there, that's one Patreon perk right there. Another idea that we had was, let's see if I can find it, is these would probably be a big hit. Sparky feathers. We've saved. Sparky throws her feathers out. She is all cocky and full of herself, and she'll be over there grooming, and she does this, and she zips them, and that sound is so fucking awesome. But once she pulls the feather out, the feather becomes really fucking annoying to her, and sometimes it floats around, and she hacks at it and bursts into flight and goes fucking all batshit crazy. So these could be good perks for unshunned. And Sparky wanted me to make sure that I told you that I don't just fucking yank these out for her. But that's also an amazing thing, is she's not part of the show tonight because she's being a dick. Sometimes she flies for no apparent reason, and one of these fuckers will fall, and it's just the coolest thing. And then somehow we think that's a sign that I won the lotto or something. But so that's an idea for a perk right there, Sparky feathers. And there was more to this bit. This stuff always seems funnier when I'm writing it down than when the reality is of me doing it. Oh, here's another one. I got my papers all out of whack here. This was suggested. Patreon perk, a live Zooming video game session with me. Understand it would be like fucking Mrs. Pac-Man or Breakout or something stupid. I'm not fucking doing it. These are the kind of things that they want to do. Free router, I fucking thought that up. In fact, I'm going to suggest that to other people. Oh, here's another one I loved. This is actual human beings that run successful Patreons, and they pay their rent with their amount of Patreon followers, would like me to offer as a perk for you giving me money, access to my idea list. That's as douchebaggy as fucking saying I will follow you on Twitter. Besides that, my idea list is the trolls in my idea hallway, and I don't even have fucking full access to them. We'd have to do like a Spock mind melt for you fuckers to get in there, and I can't promise it would be entertaining, because what I've seen of what's in there, some of it's a little fucking dark and creepy, and fucking David Lynchy. Just come on into the Black Lodge. Richter's the only one who'd have fun in there. He goes, yeah, Raymond really is fucking nuts. Look out. So that's all that stuff going on right there. I'm going to need this note because there's shit on it that I'm going to need later on, because I got myself all out of order here. So there's that. Alright, see, there it is. S2E1032020. Happy spring, stream of sheets. There's the fucking header. Fuck me in a bucket of goo. Here's something else I figured out. Since I'm writing now on the MacBook Pro, I can't do emojis. I know there's a way to do them, but I can't fucking do them. I'm used to just hitting on that little thing, and then the thumb comes up, or the heart, or the X, or whatever the fuck you want to do. So I had to Google how to do emojis on the MacBook Pro, and it's actually a 3-key maneuver. You get this, and that, and that, and at that point, and that just brings up the menu, and then you can select the fucking thumbs up. At that point, even I, as slow as I type, could have actually typed out thumbs up. So, me and writing and the emojis, we're fucking done for now. Move this. This is a challenge tonight because my thing isn't really out. That brings me to something else I wanted to piss him more about, and I'm complaining about myself. I don't know if anybody does this. When I text anyone, I know I'm a me monster. I've got to get the last word in all the time. Even texting, and I know I'm a dick because we'll be texting our daughter. She'll say, you got to watch this new show on Disney Plus, and then that's amazing. And then we'll check it out. Thank you. And then she will send me back a thumbs up, which is her way of saying, Father, I'm finished texting you. But somehow I am compelled to comment on that thumb. I don't know if anybody else does this. I'm thinking, what do you say to the thumbs up? He said, hell yeah, that's a thumbs up, then 2 thumbs up. So that's a dick move. I gotta learn to end the text message and sometimes let somebody else win. That's my own thing. That shouldn't even be really in these notes. That should be a thing I discuss at a Zoom therapy session. So never mind that. I didn't want to share that with you anyway. That's a little too much information right there. This belonged back with the pandemic and the history and show business being shut down and when we're depressed. I feel so fucking blessed and lucky to be able to stream something to my fans. You folks, there was times in history where this, whatever the fuck this is, good, bad, or otherwise, we couldn't fucking do this. Pre-internet, I'd have to use postcards and send them out, and the mail's too fucking slow, and you wouldn't get those till probably the pandemic's over. So I feel really blessed that we can stream and that we can do this. And even I've been around, showing my age here, when technology got here. You talk about when I'm out of sync and the audio doesn't match up and I'm stuck. Well, we had dial-up modems, and you plug that fucker into the phone line, and you peckerheads would have to do it. Now you say, Raymond's going live. We got to unplug the telephone, the house phone, and put in the dial-up modem. And guess what? Sparky used to be able to do that dial-up modem sound, and we had rules because I was a dick, and my tech wizard was a kid then, and he couldn't go online until after 9 o'clock at night because in case we needed the fucking phone. When Sparky would do that in the day, and then I would think he was going on fucking line, and I'm yelling at the reception, I thought we said you can't go online until fucking after 9 o'clock. It's fucking 3 o'clock, and Sparky's there giggling, and he's giggling, and the point is, we couldn't do this back then. And the monitors, the first monitors that came out were what they called monochrome monitors. That is a fancy distortion of one fucking color monitor. It could be a black screen with green or black screen with orange. Oh, it's monochrome. It's no, it's one fucking color. That's what that is. So we are lucky that we can do that which we can do. Might not seem that lucky, but but I feel blessed to be able to bring my show to you, and the support has been absolutely fucking incredible. And I also do love this fucking background because I am a reader. I love reading, but I have a Kindle, and when you're showing off your library, just leafing through the Kindle isn't really that impressive, so I can just fucking put this fucker up right here. My wife and I'm all over the place. I'm such an amazing woman. We had a curbside date today for a farm stand, farmer's market, Crooked Row, up 309, Farmer Liz, fantastic. We went up there. I'm feeling my Amish roots. I took my wife to farmer's market, Crooked Row, to get eggs. Those eggs that they have up there are the most sought after eggs in the fucking Lehigh Valley. People who don't eat eggs talk about these eggs, and they go to them, and it's almost like a drug deal, because we looked for them and we couldn't fucking find them, and we were looking around, and then Farmer Liz is right there, and she knows me, and I don't know if you remember that story, as I paid with my iPhone, and then she calls me Sexy King of the North, because that's what my phone is. So I'm like, excuse me, Sexy King of the North is looking for the special eggs. And she goes, oh, well, Sexy King of the North, I keep those in the back. So it's kind of like an inside awesome Amish farming egg thing. If you want her eggs, go to Crooked Row, 309, go in there and look at the eggs and say, yeah, but where do you keep the eggs that the Amish guy likes? Don't say Sexy King of the North, because that's too fucking creepy. I don't want to put you or her in that position. So that's a series that I've neglected in my last few weeks of streaming, is the curbside update. And I got another one for you here. As I said before, I love curbside. I'm going to keep that going. Whoever offers curbside, the rest of my life, I'm going to do curbside. So sometimes I get curbside and I just go pick the thing up and then drive, and then they come out and they throw them in the car, and that's sometimes, you know, there's different ways to do it. So Target is a last resort, but I like their curbside, and they're good for like fucking soda and paper and whatever else you might need. Little normal shit. So their app says, you can click on it, it says, tell us when you're coming. So when I leave the house, I click on that thing, and then there's another thing to click on when you get there, and it says, I'm here, and then you click on the I'm here. But they added a thing to put in the description of your car where you would like them to put the stuff, so you don't have to fucking deal with people. They don't have to climb in your window or nothing. So I hit trunk, boom, roasted. I'm all excited because it was the first time that I was using the updated put it in the trunk Target motherfuckers. It don't bother me at all to go get some ginger ale just the other day, but it was Target over there by the in Tractor Town, and I went in a different way that I normally don't go in. And when you use that app, when you pull in close, it location services, it actually says I'm here, and then the number comes up. I don't even have to fucking do anything because I'm driving. But apparently their Wi-Fi signal is much stronger on the way that I came in, because it said I'm here while I was still on fucking Hamilton Street, and I'm losing my fucking mind. My phone is dinging. It says I'm here. I'm not fucking here yet. I'm yelling at my phone. They can't fucking hear me, and the code is up, and I'm, oh. So if you use that I'm here system, be careful which way you go in, because it might say I'm here before you're actually here. Turned out it was okay because they were running behind schedule, but still cost me a pill. All right, so there's that. Oh. In the year of pandemic, curbside and delivery, groceries and all that shit, when you discover something new, what I do, I lose my fucking mind. Our daughter told us about this, and I never really used it because it's a teeny little bit expensive, but every so often you have someone in the family, they'll say, here's like $40. I want you to spend it on yourself for something fun. You and your wife, treat yourself. So there's Grubhub and DoorDash, which I haven't used this whole fucking pandemic except a couple weeks ago. I first tried it, and people don't like these because it's expensive. Well, of course it's expensive. Somebody's bringing fucking food to your house and leaving it on your fucking front porch. Of course it's expensive. They gotta charge more for that. That's why a bottle of beer isn't just a fucking $1 out in the bar. You go to the bar and it's fucking $5 because there's a lot of fucking shit going on. So I accept that costs more. So since I'm vegetarian now, accidental, still going, my choices are limited. So we got the IHOP pancakes and the French toast and all this shit was coming, and then I put the order in, and then the craziest thing happened. Because if you don't know, you didn't know in the neighborhood here, the Auto Mile on Lehigh Street, there's the IHOP, and they go past what I call stripper Wawa, which doesn't make any sense anymore because the strip club that was next to it is fucking gone, but I still call it stripper Wawa. The app asked me if I wanted the Grubhub person to run into stripper Wawa and pick up anything for us on the way here. And I really fucking wanted something, but I couldn't think of nothing. I'm like, fucking put fucking Oreos in there or whatever. But that's like a cool thing that's happening right there. Babumsa's trying to pull this shit where she's telling me the show is over. Babumsa is not the boss of me. I say when this show is over, not Babumsa or me fucking up the technology. That's when we say the show is fucking over. What I make a big mistake is, because she's fucking my show up right now, I tend to yell at her nastily, then I feel bad. So I will try to do this a little bit more manners. Alexa, stop. Wow, she didn't even fucking thank me. All right, I'm going back to being nasty. And what just happened there too was also bad because I remembered something that I want to tell you. Oh, back to the DoorDash. I know people don't want to do it because it costs too much money. My own brother-in-law said, there's no way that I'm paying more than $12 to have a pizza delivered. That's a fair price. Big pizza is delivered $12. I'm not paying $18, $20 to have pizza delivered. $12 gets a pizza delivered. You know why it's only $12? Because I'm the fucking one who delivers it. Who the fuck do you think's been bringing your fucking pizza? You fucking phone up and I drop it off and I don't get fucking tipped or nothing. That would have been funnier if I would have tagged it on before Babumsa interrupted my show. But then I thought of something else, and then the ending of the show, sound of Babumsa, fucked that up. So now I'm going to see, and hopefully there's some planet where I made a note of it. All right, here, so there's DoorDash, there's beer, there's stripper Wawa, brother-in-law pizza, there's that. Oh, I made another note, and it's over here. I'll go get it. I just hope I don't knock any of this shit down. Let's see, where is it? If I don't make extra notes, I'm sorry, it's very unprofessional to run off camera, but if I don't make extra notes, then after I have my set list all printed out, then I feel bad. And next week we have to do things that I forgot, and next week I won't even be here. So I ran over to get this note, and it says, curbside, Target, car locations, trunk, let us know when you're here. Okay. I wouldn't have had to do that, but the point is, all right, moving right along here. Shout out to Keith from the Keith Show. I don't know why I don't fucking promote that. You can hear me on the Keith Show Thursdays, ZZO, iHeartRadio. Keith helps me out with a lot of stuff. We swap ideas, and we got a behind the scenes thing of me calling in to the Keith Show on Patreon for the Patreon for the Unshunned, and then we swapped some other ideas, and then I just told him that I gotta figure out a way to go viral, and it seems like it should be easier than it is because, like I say, I love books. Wheel of Time series, fantastic. There's so many shows about the books of Wheel of Time, and they go fucking nuts. And they have 300 people in the chat, and it's people, they post. There's a TV show coming out based on the Wheel of Time books, and Amazon posted like a 3-second clip of like boots that were in the book and apparently will be in the TV show. 3-second clip. And then people went fucking nuts. They put this clip up and 90,000 views. 90,000 views in fucking 3 hours. And then they did the shows like this one, but dedicated to the Wheel of Time, did breaking news, emergency live streams. The guy works from his home, and then he just doesn't fucking do it, and he goes live. And then they have a show that night, and then they talk about it. Well, what do you think? Those are Matt's favorite boots or not his favorite boots? Or do you think they're the same boots that they wore in the book? How the fuck would anybody know that? And people go nuts, and they watch this 3-second clip of these boots a fucking 1,000 times during that fucking live stream. And then somebody does a spin-off show, podcast with 1 million views, Matt's Boots. And I'm thinking, I have to find my version of Matt's Boots so I can go fucking nuts. Like a 3-second video of my beard hairs, and say, well, maybe those really aren't his beard hairs. That's fucking creepy. I wish I could edit that out. And then my man Keith said, you already have something and do like a bucket of goo. So I don't really know how that'll work out, but I have to figure out a way to viral me a 3-second thing. And then I got to thinking, it might not be that simple. It is quite possible that first I would have to write 15 books and have it turned into a TV show. Then I could do a 3-second video of my beard hairs. Boom, roasted. All right, Keith's idea, bucket of goo. Not sure how that's going to play out, but there we go. We got that. Bibbidi bobbidi boo. Got the free router, bitcoins. That's all covered. Random all over the place. Some of you will be able to identify with this, and some of you won't. Did you ever? I'm going back in time now. Have a friend that you liked, but you didn't really like them that much, but you hung out a little bit, but you never really wanted to go like back to their house. Like you could hang out with them as long as you were at the playground or someplace safe, and then they invited you over to their house, and you got a little fucking creeped out. They're like, hey man, why don't you come over and hang out? And then you start to get this kind of Silence of the Lambs vibe, and you start to panic, and you're like, no, I gotta get home for supper. And then they say, well, I have a pool table. And that's real creepy. That's like seduction. And then you're like, yeah, a pool table. You go, I would love to go and play pool, because that's how fucking easy it is to trick guys. I don't really like this guy that much. I don't want to go to his house. I'm very uncomfortable because I've never been in there. But hey, fuck it, he has a pool table. And then you get in the house, and the house might have been a teeny little bit creepy. And pool tables, normally you would think they would be in some rich person's house, right? So then you go in the house, and it's a little knocked down, and then you start going through hallways and shit, and some of the plaster's falling off the walls. And then you go upstairs, and that starts to creep the fuck out of you, because it's not much different than getting lured to the basement. And then you open up a door, and there's a pool table in that room. But it doesn't really fit in the room. It's in the room, but that's the only fucking thing that's in that fucking room. And they're all proud to say, I got a pool table. And you open up, and there's only like this much room to walk around in there, and you can't really escape because you can't get past someone. You got to make enough fucking shots. And then when you do the shot, man, your arm pops into the wall, or you pop a window out and you break. You're thinking, this is fucking creepy. I got to get the fuck out of here. But you have to hit the pool balls in such a fashion so as to maneuver yourself around to where the exit is. And then when you see, don't look at me make this shot because I'm a little nervous and it's a tricky shot. And then when they turn away, you can get the fuck out of there. Pool tables, friends with pool tables that didn't fit in their house. You've been there. It's creepy. Fuck me in a bucket of goo. All right, so here we go there. Probably somebody that I know that did that to me is in the chat right now, and they're going to come beat the fuck out of me. What the fuck? All right, so here we go. There's that. Oh, a couple more random stories here. Clee's sister, always in the house, big supporter of the show. If you don't have the backstory on Clee and Clee's sister by now, it doesn't make any sense that you would even be in the chat. But so, Clee, way back when I met my lovely wife, and she been divorced, and I got a package deal and 3 kids, and they were all little, and I was a little concerned about how my good friend Clee was going to get along with these 3 little kids. We didn't really have good parental instincts. So Clee comes over. This is a story for Clee's sister. If anybody else gets it, that's fine. Me, nervous for Clee to meet these kids. Clee meets them, right? And I call him Clee. That's his last name. His first name, Mark. Never called him Mark. So Clee rounds up the 3 kids, and he took them into a closet. It didn't have a door on it. Nothing creepy. It was just a closet. One of those closets that was open, but the coats all hung down so low. And then behind that was another rack, and there was like a little space in there. So Clee went in there, and I tried to crawl in with him. And they said, the children, my children, her kids, all grown up now, and one of them is the one who helps me out with all this technology. They said, "Oh, I'm sorry. This is the Mark Club, and you do not have a membership card to this very exclusive Mark Club." And they threw me out of the fucking closet in my own home, the Mark Club. I spent years trying to get into that fucking Mark Club, and they taunt me. I say, so not anybody can just get into the Mark Club. And then my other friend Frank, who is in the chat sometimes, he came over, and they welcomed him into the Mark Club with open arms. Here's your lifetime membership. And he went in the fucking closet with them. And then we'd drive around and we'd go places, and they'd all taunt me. And Clee would taunt me. And Frank would taunt me. And the kids would all taunt me. We're in the Mark Club, and you are not. You don't qualify. You could try to apply again, but you will never get in. So, I don't live there anymore, but one of these days I'm going to break back into that fucking house and crawl into that fucking closet and stake my claim on the Mark Club. So the punchline to that story was, not only could Clee get along with our kids, he would just be a lot more fun than I would. I mean, I didn't have a Mark Club. What the fuck? So that's the Clee story. Fucking boom, roasted. I'm getting ready to wrap things up here. If you can, subscribe to my Patreon and become an unshunned. $3. I appreciate it. Try to get the numbers up there. I'm up to like 13 now, and I have to figure out shit to keep those 13, but I'd like to get more of you over there. Subscriber services suck. I know, but I need you to fucking do it. Just fucking humor me here. I'm going to leave you with a story here. Hell Gigs is a series that I was doing a while ago, and then fell by the wayside, but as I am now trying to go over stuff that's going to wind up in the stories from my eventual book, I'm going back to, a lot of this stuff is area stuff here, is that I would do fundraisers for virtually anything, mostly places that never ran comedy before, and that's what all the fun is. It's easy to run comedy, you just set shit up. So, Copley, somewhere between Allentown and Northampton, playground. Hey, I'm a hero. I'm going to do a 2 nights sold out fundraiser for the Copley playground. Now, where they had the show was in a concrete cement building that was never meant to do anything except hold trucks that took care of the playgrounds. And then they would also get a DJ in there, and then they'd have me, and I'd use the DJ's mic, and then they dance fucking night away. And night one, I went in there, and the sound was so bad. Because here's the thing with DJs is, don't get pissed off at me for ragging on DJs. They usually tend to set up like I am now, and they put two really huge speakers here and two really huge speakers there, and they really make them fucking loud. And then they blast and fucking dance, and if you want to hear it loud, you come up and dance, and if you don't want to hear it, you hide in the fucking back. That doesn't work so well for comedy, and because it was concrete, my sound was echoing off the fucking walls in that concrete garage. People could not fucking hear. It was very upsetting, and then it was so upsetting. So I ka-chunked my way through that show somehow, and then I can't remember if we did this on the first night or the second night, but I tried to explain, and the DJ was sitting right behind me with the logo. We do weddings and all that shit. I'm there. I know about sound. I have good tech people, and I have good microphones and shit, but I didn't bring them along because I had a DJ. So I told the people this would sound a lot better if we could get these 4 speakers in, one in each of the corners, 4 corners of this concrete building, and then turn the volume way down low, and we would have more sound, clear, lower, all around. What do you think? And the people cheered, and the fucker who was the DJ, he would have none of it. And then it was his equipment. So now we got a gray area here because I am the star at that moment, but it was his equipment. So he wouldn't fucking help me. I couldn't believe it. I was so proud. I thought of a way to save the day. And then people in the audience, that's you, said, just said, this is amazing because the people in this chat are exactly as a fucking awesome people who would pick those speakers up and move them where they needed to fucking go. Richter and Kevin Keller and Clee's sister, they picked up these speakers and really pissed off the fucking DJ, and they put them in the corners. And then we adjusted the sound, and it was just kind of good enough. Now, we went back second night. I went back second night, and it's not this one, but I have a Shure. I forget the number. It's an M58. It's a good fucking mic. They were probably $150 mics. Everybody had them. They have them wherever you see. It's that gray microphone, and it has that little blue stripe around it. It's funny because when they use them on TV shows and movies, and it's supposed to be a shitty thing, and they have a Shure microphone, I'm like, that microphone's way too good for how shitty of a thing it is. So I called a little meeting with the DJ guy, mostly to apologize for being a dick, even though he was the dick. So I called a meeting with him and the people running the thing. Last night was bad, but it seemed like things worked out, and he was real fucking pissed off. And he's real condescending. He goes, yes, I have to admit, it sounded a little better when we moved the speakers. When we moved them, when they moved them. But trolls in the idea, however, shut the fuck up, we're making progress here. Just shut the fuck up, we can handle this. And then, so he wanted to get out of this meeting because I made him look like a dick. Amish comedians should not show a DJ how to make his sound better. That's embarrassing, but I had to do it because I love my audience. So he actually said, is there anything else, Your Highness? And I said, yes. Your microphone sucks batshit balls. So I brought, and that's not this, but I'll whip down my pocket. I brought my Shure M58, and I would like us to plug this microphone in to the system where the speakers are in the corners, and that's about as good as he can get. Now he's fucking losing his mind. He takes this microphone, and he had the shitty microphone right there, and it was way shittier than this one. This is an entry-level Shure microphone here that Sporky sits on, and he goes, and there's a lot of people around. There's a feeling tension. A big motherfucker, he could beat the fuck out of me. He goes, you mean to tell me that you think this microphone is better than this microphone. No, I don't think it. I fucking know it. I fucking know it to be true, and you should know it too. You should be fucking embarrassed that you don't know this fucking microphone is a piece of shit, and that fucking microphone is better than that one. And I don't think he and I ever spoke again. That's a wrap for episode 1, season 2, streaming live from my living room. Happy spring. Thanks for tuning in. Join us on Unshunned, and I will try to figure out. Oh, I get to do this. I get to do this. Wait. Here we go. Wait. Stream ending. I clicked on it. You can still hear me, which I didn't know. And it's lucky that I knew not to say anything fucking stupid. I love you. Thanks for tuning in. And I'll be back virtually